Experiential Training and Development, or ETD, is an approach to individual, group, and organizational learning that engages people using action, reflection, application, and performance support. ETD combines the methods of experiential learning, adult learning, and organization development. ETDA members design and apply experiences that guide people to understandings that are deep, difficult to see, excellent, and beyond the reach of mere logic.
Because we're so task-focused, because we work so hard at just getting tasks done, we often forget to learn every day in our work besides getting tasks done. So I feel like my job really is to go into a company or a group or a team and just remind them what they already know, which is everything they do is a learning opportunity, and help them make it a habit to learn from every single experience that they have. It makes their work a heck of a lot more fun, and it makes them a heck of a lot better at what they do.
One of my favorite frameworks that I use is that quote from Plato that said, "I learn more about a man in an hour of play than a lifetime of conversation."
And it was just such a powerful exercise that you just can't do through conversation. You can't do it through, somebody telling you how to do it. You've got to experience it.
And so they do the activity, they fail miserably at it, and they come back to the circle and to reflect a little bit on the experience. And they stood there and they looked at the ground for about 30 seconds, which is a long time to silently look at the ground. And then they kind of looked at each other and they looked off to the side. And somewhere around a minute into the silence, which just seemed like forever, somebody said, "You don't have to say a word. You don't have to say a word." And at which point, of course, they did a lot of words, but it was the reflecting on that activity, the learning came from the activity itself, not all the stuff that they were saying. It was just powerful for them. They really got how they got in their own way. And that's the power of a really well-designed experiential activity. You don't have to say a word. You don't have to lecture. You don't have to give them a model. You don't have to quote some famous person. You don't have to stand up and tell an energizing story. You give them the right activity at the right time with the right pieces, and they'll stand there stunned, and you don't have to say a word.
He was a sort of stereotypical Irish guy with, big boisterous personality and big smile, and he sat down. He was the first one at the table, and he sat down, and I came and sat down beside him, and I looked at him, and he was very pensive and almost morose, and I said, what's going on? And he said, "I finally get it." He said, "I finally get why my senior executive team meetings are so dysfunctional and they just don't work." He said, "I do in my meetings exactly what I did with that team." He said, "I try and give them all the answers. I don't give them time to talk." And all of the dynamics that happen in his work, but he had never had the opportunity to slow down and reflect and really look at his behavior outside of that environment.
And at first it was all about this physical challenge and activity, and I was so focused internally on me and what was going on for me on that. But the real power of this whole concept of experiential learning for me was once the experience was over and there was the conversations that happened that took place around how we were looking at that experience and how it translates to how I actually show up in the world and engage with other people and engage in my work. And that something just really clicked for me personally on that's exactly how I know I learn best.
It was 10 years later, I encountered this team again. And the first thing when I walked into the room, the first thing they did is they pointed their fingers at me and went, "The wall." We still use it in all our leadership team meetings. It resonated with them for 10 years, their ability to come together, overcome difficult challenges, and actually take the learning they had and embed it into their behavior.
They went from very low number of innovative ideas coming out of this group to one where there were so many ideas that they ended up needing to get a system for managing the ideas in the innovation process. And so just if you look at that alone, from not really innovating to we've got too many ideas that we need to figure out how do we handle all these ideas. And it's a shift in culture.